and welcome to Lake, a show about our beautiful city of Bellevue, Washington. I'm Michelle DeGrand, and I'm so glad you're joining us today for a great show. On this episode, we'll explore how Bellevue is connecting people in creative new ways along the Grand Connection, plus how we're strategically improving safety for everyone on our streets, and celebrating the spirit of community at one of our most beloved local farm traditions. Bellevue's Grand Connection now has an interactive art and wayfinding experience that's sparking some community conversations about public spaces. These little decals along the Grand Connection invite people to scan QR codes and share feedback about how they use city spaces, blending art, technology, and engagement in a truly Bellevue way.
Bellevue's very own Belle the Bobcat has hit the streets of downtown to show you around one of her favorite places, the Bellevue Grand Connection. With a length of more than 1.5 miles, the Grand Connection begins at the waterfront of Lake Washington at the foot of Maidenbower Bay, winds through Old Bellevue all the way to Downtown Park. It continues through Bellevue's dynamic retail and civic-focused parts of downtown, across I-405, and ultimately connects with the regional East Trail in the Wilburton commercial area. The vision to create a corridor for people walking, biking, or rolling through downtown has been decades in the making. Now it's time for you to experience the progress the city has made and share your thoughts on the future. Belle loves Bellevue and wants to know what's on your mind as we all work to create public places that serve everyone. So that's why we created a new tool to chat directly with you. Through summer 2026, you're invited to engage with any of the 20 sidewalk signs located on the mile-and-a-half corridor from Maidenbower Bay to East Trail. The signs can be found on sidewalks at various locations along the Grand Connection. When you scan the QR code or send a text to the number provided, you'll have the option to participate in a chat. Translated experiences will also be available in Mandarin, Russian, Korean, Japanese, Vietnamese, Spanish, and Hindi. You'll be invited to share your thoughts about what activities you'd like to see downtown and see what Belle knows about events, activities, cool spots all along the Grand Connection. You can start as many conversations as you want for as long as you'd like. There's a lot to love about Bellevue, from the cuisine to seasonal concerts, shopping, parks, and easy access to public transit. For all of these reasons, we call Bellevue home. There are even plans for the Grand Connection to include a car-free bridge over I-405, unlocking more housing, jobs, and recreational opportunities for the Bellevue community. No matter how you got downtown or why you're here, the Grand Connection is for you. No comment or question is too small for Belle. You don't have to wait until you're out and about. To learn more about the Office of the Grand Connection, visit the website below.
And there we go. Good. I just gave my feedback right now. Thanks, Belle. You know, did you know that Bellevue has more than 350 miles of sidewalks and over 1,000 lane miles of roadway, not to mention more than 200 signalized intersections and over 150 miles of bike lanes. So how does one city department maintain and strategically plan for improving the safety and efficiency of all this infrastructure? Well, lucky for us, we've got just the person to explain how this all works. Here's Transportation Director Andrew Singalakis to tell us more in part one of our two-part series on how transportation projects in Bellevue move from concept to construction.
Hi, I'm Andrew Singalakis, and I'm the Transportation Director for the City of Bellevue. Today I'm going to share with you how our department plans for the future and, with community input, selects and funds projects to build. Our staff of 170 people across 4 divisions work to implement the City Council vision to deliver a safe and efficient transportation system here in Bellevue. We also collaborate on policy direction and planning with our Transportation Commission, which is a council-appointed advisory board. And we partner with many other agencies in the region, like Sound Transit, WashDOT, and King County, to deliver new transit projects and improve connections to our regional transportation facilities. Bellevue's grown a lot in the past few decades, and that growth is projected to continue. With so many new people coming to live, work, study, and play in our city, how do we make sure everyone can get where they're going safely and efficiently? Our planning starts with a comprehensive plan, a foundational policy document that establishes a single community vision for how Bellevue's infrastructure and services will meet the needs of our growing city over the next 20 years. Our current plan looks all the way out to 2044. It outlines goals and policies for everything from housing to utilities, economic development to human services, and of course, transportation. It's important we start with the citywide plan because transportation supports much of what happens within Bellevue. Staff from our department work hand in hand with planners from the Community Development Department in both the Planning Commission and the Transportation Commission, together with lots of different in-person and digital engagement with the community to develop the policy recommendations in the comprehensive plan that are adopted by the City Council. After citywide policies are adopted, we focus on transportation-specific plans. We do a lot of planning, studies, and analysis to make sure we're prioritizing the city's investment in the transportation network. Today we're going to focus on 3 high-level plans that guide our department's work, but more information is available on our website. The overarching transportation plan is the Mobility Implementation Plan. It identifies our goals and performance metrics for all modes of transportation across the city. And these include walking, driving, bicycling, and taking transit. When there's a gap between the performance target and what exists in the ground, the MIP identifies project concepts that could fill these gaps. For example, a new sidewalk could be built to improve the performance of the network for people walking. These project concepts are then passed on to the Transportation Facilities Plan process. The Transportation Facilities Plan, or the TFP, helps us prioritize what projects to build based in part on what the city can reasonably afford. They include only as many projects as we forecast we'll have the money for. The Transportation Commission recommends to the City Council what projects to include in the TFP, and to make this recommendation, they work with our planners and seek input from community members like you. Once a project is listed in the TFP, it can compete for implementation funding in the city's Capital Improvement Plan, or the CIP. The CIP is a 6-year plan for funding the design, property acquisition, and construction of city transportation projects, as well as project priorities from other departments like utilities and parks and community services. In addition to funding specific projects, the CIP also funds programs that focus on improving safety, increasing capacity for vehicles, adding space for people walking and biking, and system maintenance projects. One example is our Neighborhood Sidewalks program. The CIP allocates money each year to this program, funding community outreach, design, and construction of sidewalk projects across the city. This way, the program can build sidewalks where we need them the most without individual projects competing against other standalone CIP projects for funding. The CIP is updated every 2 years through the city's budget update process. During this update, there are lots of opportunities to get involved, including attending council meetings, participating in the budget survey, or attending an informational session. In our next video, we'll talk about what happens after a project is funded, including how they are designed, built, and maintained.
That's it for this edition of Lake to Lake. Be sure to join us next month for part 2 of our look at how Bellevue transportation projects come to life. We'll leave you today with a barnyard stroll through one of Bellevue's most unique annual events, the Kelsey Creek Farm Fair. Thank you for watching Lake to Lake. You can share your feedback at bellevuewa.gov. And don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel for the latest stories from the city. I'm Michelle DeGrand. From all of us at Bellevue Television and the City of Bellevue, thanks for joining us. See you next time and have a very happy fall, y'all.
Oh, the Holstein is black and white. She's a very popular cow. She makes more milk than any other. Wouldn't you like glass now? Boo! Cows are cool. Cows are neat. Cows have tails and hooves on their feet. Cows hang around, chewing their cud, standing in the pasture or standing in the mud. Okay, now do you see a brown and white cow? You see a brown and white cow? Right there, yes, that's the Guernsey. And another kind of dairy cow is the Guernsey, and she may be red or yellow or brown and white. She's pretty as you can see. Here we go. Cow